with it. The enemy right now wants you to remain a zombie-like creature that will not reason or think for yourself. The serpent seed wants you impotent as they create a false narrative for you. God gave you and me a choice. He said, choose them or me. And that's really what this life is. You know, some people are called, some people are not called, but the Bible says many are called, but only a few out of this many called are actually chosen. This is a big deal. You know, long before the creation of this world, long before you and I existed with our Father in heaven, because I believe we existed up there with Him before we came here, before we passed through the doorway, so to speak. Your Father put something in motion. It's a train. He put it in motion. It's God's will. Now His plan is a train that's going from point A, which is the beginning, to point B, which is the finish. And there's nothing or no one that can stop it. Nothing. This is incredibly hard for us to understand, and sometimes even harder for us to accept. However, it is the truth. And when we accept it and we live by God's will, we can have real peace and real understanding. Now, this does not mean that we should turn our heads to evil or accept it or just walk by as we see evil being done. We have to understand that God gave evil a certain amount of leash and power. And we are seeing it right now, in my opinion, more than ever. And it's hard to accept. However, we have to understand that the train of God is going to its final destination, and it's not going to be derailed for anyone or anything. Let me explain God's mercy and love and promises with this train ride in a way that you'll understand, and I'll try to keep it short. This train of God is in motion. It is from God. It is from Him only, and it can't be stopped. However, in our Father's great love and mercy, it is God Himself who will slow the train down for you, to help you, His children. It is God who will speed the train up to help His children. Just as Jesus Christ said that in the last days, time will speed up, and we are seeing it now. It is God Himself who will actually bring the train to a stop, because He is the only one that can, just so He will pick up extra passengers or give people a time to get it together until we get to the very end. But nevertheless, this train is going from point A to point B. There is no point C. There is nothing else. It's going to go all the way. It's going to happen. Ain't nothing going to stop it. Nothing. Nothing or no one. However, God does stop the train. He does make it go in certain routes, because God hears our prayers, our pleas, and our heartfelt requests for help. And He moves this train in different ways and speeds because of His love for His family. You know, we've been taught all our lives, and you hear people say constantly, remember who you are and where you come from. Now, these two statements used to have a lot of merit to me. They used to mean a lot. However, as I've grown in God, I realize they're really insignificant to me as a man and as a man of God. I see things far different now because I've been taught the truth. What we should remember and ask is this: what are you and where are you going? It does not matter where you've been. It matters where you're going now. It does not matter who you are, what you were in the past. It matters what you are now. It matters what you are now and where you're going now, because it's about the present. It's not about where we've come from. It's about where we're going and who we are now. Now, I know this life is hard, and sometimes incredibly hard. However, God is real, and this life is not forever. The jobs that we do here, the life that we live here is temporary. The reward that we have is forever. You are stronger than you understand. You're not weak. You're not insignificant. You're not stupid. You're capable of more than you dare imagine, if you will dare imagine. If you will have a strong faith in God and are willing to put the work in He gives you to make the changes in this last mile of this train ride. Now, I know at this point many folks are asking, where are we at? A guy left a comment in the video, the last one we did 10 days ago, and said, where do you think we're at in the timeline of Revelation? Well, first of all, Revelation is not linear. That means it doesn't go in order. It goes all over the place. So where are we in God's timeline? I don't know, man. But let me tell you this. I believe we are near the end. I believe on this train that God has put in motion, we can see the final destination right up ahead. Now, when people talk about great tribulation, people talk about this, they talk about that. The one thing they don't mention is this. They want to talk about food. They want to talk about shit hitting the fan. They want to talk about water. They want to talk about fallen angels. They want to talk about all this. But the one thing they don't talk about in God's train ride and what would be the last days. People want to talk about there's babies being killed and they're being hidden in vats. Listen, man, I don't deal in fantasy. I deal in reality. Yes, there are children being hurt. Yes, there are people being kidnapped. Yes, the prices of things are gone up sky high. Yes, it's bad, but what's something else going on that is so filthy and so hideous that God has said, I'm about ready to say enough. And when God puts his hand down, man, and says enough, things are going to shake. It's the mockery of Jesus Christ, man, and it's everywhere. It's the mockery of God. It's non-stop. The hatred of God, the denial of God, the denial of Jesus Christ, the Son of God, who is the image of God, who was brutally murdered, and the people just mock it and deny it. How much longer do you think God's going to say, I'm not going to tolerate but so much more of that? He's just not. He's just not. By now, some of you know that the images that I put in my work are of the outdoors. I find mountains, rivers, and streams to be incredibly beautiful, and some rivers are also incredibly dangerous, especially when they're moving fast. And I've noticed in my life that when people get in fast moving rivers, they struggle and sometimes they perish. And what I've wondered is why these people cannot understand that when you're in a fast moving river, you don't try to swim to shore. You don't try to fight it, for it's only going to make it far worse and probably kill you. Instead, why not hold on? Why not grab hold of a log or simply relax and let your body float down the river until it calms down? This is exactly what we should do with God. Grab a hold of God in this fast-flowing river of life and let God take care of us, because God promised that he would. And man, I keep telling you, I've said it 1,000 times. If I've said it once, let me say it again. God don't lie. God cannot lie. God said, look, I'll take care of you. I love you. Do right by me. It's going to be all right. In closing, I ask you, my brothers and sisters, 2 simple questions. 1, when was the last time that you, as a man or a woman, a child of God, sat down and had a long talk with God? 2, when was the last time you told your Father in Jesus Christ, I love you and thank you?